Do you ever feel a fog clouding your thoughts, making decisions difficult or problems seem insurmountable? We live in a world overflowing with information, yet clarity can feel like a distant shore. What if there were ancient keys, timeless secrets, to unlock a sharper, more profound way of thinking, a way to think perhaps like a genius? This journey begins not with innate brilliance, but with uncovering lost wisdom. The desire for mental clarity isn't new. For millennia, great minds have sought ways to navigate the complexities of existence. Imagine possessing a mental toolkit forged in antiquity, yet perfectly suited for the challenges of today. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about awakening a potential already within you, using principles tested by time itself. Our guide on this path is one of history's most influential thinkers, Aristotle. More than just a philosopher, he was a master architect of thought, a pioneer who meticulously mapped the landscape of human reasoning. His logic secrets are not dusty relics, but powerful, practical strategies for anyone seeking to elevate their understanding and decision-making. So what does it truly mean to think like a genius? It's not about effortless, spontaneous flashes of insight alone. More often, it's about a structured, methodical approach to understanding. It's about building a strong foundation for your thoughts, one clear idea at a time, much like an artisan constructs a masterpiece. The first secret Aristotle offers us is the profound power of clarity in definition. How often do we engage in discussions, or even internal debates, without truly defining what we're talking about? Genius begins with precision. Vague terms lead to vague thoughts, and vague thoughts lead to muddled outcomes. Consider a common word like success. What does it truly mean to you? For one, it might be financial wealth. For another, deep personal relationships. For a third, creative fulfillment. Without a clear, personal definition, how can you even begin to strive for it logically? Aristotle urged us to define our terms first. This principle extends beyond abstract concepts. When tackling any problem, the first step is to define it with utmost clarity. What is the exact nature of the challenge? What are its boundaries? What does a solution look like? A clearly defined problem is already halfway to being solved. Imagine you're building a bridge. You wouldn't start with random planks and hope for the best. You'd first define its purpose, its span, the load it must bear. Clear definitions are the blueprints for our mental constructions. They provide the stable ground upon which strong arguments and sound conclusions are built. So the first practice is simple yet profound. Before you debate, decide, or despair, pause. Ask yourself, what do I truly mean by this? What are the essential qualities of this idea or problem? This act of deliberate definition is a cornerstone of genius-level thinking. This isn't about pedantry or winning arguments with semantics. It's about achieving genuine understanding, both for yourself and in communication with others. When terms are clear, the path ahead becomes illuminated, and shared progress becomes possible. This is the first step towards Aristotelian logical power. Once we've grasped the importance of clear definitions, Aristotle leads us to the next secret: understanding the structure of an argument. Every piece of reasoning, whether simple or complex, has fundamental components. Recognizing these components is like seeing the hidden framework of a grand cathedral. At the heart of any argument are premises, the statements or assumptions presented as reasons or evidence. These are the foundations upon which a conclusion is built. If your premises are shaky or untrue, then no matter how logical the subsequent steps, the conclusion will likely be flawed. Then comes the conclusion, the claim that the premises are intended to support. It's the point the argument is trying to make, the destination it's leading you towards. A strong argument provides a clear and well-supported path from premises to conclusion. Think of it like a detective solving a case. The clues are the premises. The detective's theory of whodunit is the conclusion. The detective must ensure each clue is valid and that together they logically point to the suspect. If a key clue is misinterpreted, the wrong person might be accused. When you encounter information, whether in an article, a conversation, or your own mind, practice dissecting it. Ask, what are the foundational claims being made here, the premises? And what is the main point being asserted, the conclusion? This simple act sharpens your critical thinking immensely. Recognizing premises and conclusions isn't just academic, it's a survival skill in an age of information overload. It helps you filter noise, identify manipulation, and focus on what truly matters in any message. You begin to see the underlying logic, or lack thereof, in everything you encounter. Aristotle highlighted that strong premises are usually true, relevant, and sufficient. Are the reasons offered actually factual? Do they directly relate to the conclusion? Is there enough evidence to justify the claim? Asking these questions is a hallmark of clear, genius-level thought. By mastering the art of identifying premises and conclusions, you gain the power to evaluate the strength of any argument. You're no longer passively receiving information. You are actively engaging with it, testing its foundations and assessing its validity. This is active, empowered thinking. This conscious deconstruction of arguments, seeking out the premises and conclusions, transforms you from a mere spectator of ideas into an architect of your own understanding. It's a fundamental shift, a key, secret, to thinking with the clarity and precision Aristotle championed. Now let's delve into deductive reasoning, a powerful tool Aristotle formalized. This is the process of moving from general principles or established truths, premises, to a specific, certain conclusion. If the premises are true and the structure is valid, the conclusion must be true. The classic example is, all humans are mortal, general premise 1. Socrates is a human, specific premise 2. Therefore, Socrates is mortal, specific, certain conclusion. This elegant structure, when its premises are sound, offers us undeniable truths. Deductive reasoning is like a perfectly crafted key unlocking a specific door. If the key, the logical structure, is well made and fits the lock, the true premises, the door, the conclusion, will open, revealing what was hidden or confirming what was suspected. In our daily lives, we use deductive reasoning constantly, often without realizing it. If it's raining, the streets will be wet. You look outside, see rain, premise 1, so you deduce the streets are wet, conclusion, even before stepping out. The power of deductive reasoning in thinking like a genius lies in its ability to build certainty and uncover implications. By starting with reliable general knowledge, we can derive specific, actionable insights. It helps us connect the dots in a way that is robust and verifiable. When faced with a complex problem, try to identify any overarching principles or established facts that apply. Then, reason downwards from these general truths to see what specific conclusions logically follow. This deductive approach can cut through confusion and reveal clear answers. While Aristotle emphasized deduction, another crucial aspect of robust thinking is inductive reasoning. This is the journey from specific observations to broader generalizations or theories. It's how we notice patterns and form hypotheses about the world around us. Imagine observing swan after swan, and each one is white. Inductively, you might conclude, all swans are white. This conclusion isn't guaranteed to be true, as the discovery of black swans later showed, but it's a reasonable inference based on the available evidence. Inductive reasoning is the engine of scientific discovery and everyday learning. We see patterns, we make educated guesses, we test them. It's about building theories from the ground up, based on what we experience and observe. A genius mind is often highly skilled at spotting these patterns. The strength of an inductive argument depends on the quality and quantity of observations. The more consistent and numerous the instances, the more probable, though not certain, the generalization. This is why keen observation is so vital for sharp thinking. In your own life, practice noticing recurring patterns in events, behaviors, or outcomes. What specific instances lead you to form a general understanding? This conscious observation and generalization is a key aspect of developing insightful, genius-like thinking. Deduction and induction work together. Induction helps us form hypotheses, general ideas from specific observations, and deduction helps us test them. If this general idea is true, what specific things must also be true? This interplay is central to powerful problem solving. Aristotle's logic also provides us with crucial defenses, the ability to identify and avoid fallacies. Fallacies are errors in reasoning, deceptive arguments that appear sound, but are actually flawed. Recognizing them is like having a shield against misinformation and manipulation. One common fallacy is the ad hominem attack, attacking the person making an argument rather than the argument itself. Don't listen to his plan. He's a fool. This distracts from the actual merits or flaws of the plan itself. Another is the straw man fallacy, misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to attack. Instead of addressing the real point, one attacks a distorted, weaker version. A genius mind seeks to understand the strongest version of an opposing view. The appeal to emotion is also common, manipulating feelings to win an argument, rather than using logic or evidence. While emotions are important, they shouldn't replace sound reasoning when making critical judgments. Clarity requires us to distinguish between pathos and logos. Learning to spot fallacies in advertising, political rhetoric, and even our own internal monologues is a liberating skill. It's like having a filter that catches impurities, allowing only clear, reasoned thought to pass through. This is essential for genuine understanding. Aristotle wouldn't want us to just memorize fallacy names. The goal is to understand the underlying error in thinking. Why is this particular line of reasoning flawed? This deeper comprehension is what builds true logical strength. By familiarizing yourself with common fallacies, you become less susceptible to them and more adept at constructing your own sound arguments. It's a critical step in thinking like a genius, fortifying your mind against deceptive reasoning. Now let's look at one of Aristotle's most famous contributions to practical logic, the syllogism. We touched on it earlier, but its simple structure is a powerful tool for organizing thoughts and testing deductive validity. It's logic in its most basic, elegant form. A syllogism consists of two premises and a conclusion that necessarily follows if the premises are true and the form is correct. Premise 1. All A are B. Premise 2. C is A conclusion. Therefore, C is B. This framework helps clarify deductive steps. Imagine, all effective leaders communicate well. Premise 1. She is an effective leader. Premise 2. Therefore, she communicates well. Conclusion. The syllogism lays out this reasoning in an undeniable way, provided the premises hold true. While not all arguments fit neatly into a simple syllogism, understanding its structure helps us identify the core logic in more complex reasoning. It trains the mind to look for these fundamental connections: major premise, minor premise, and conclusion. You can use the syllogistic form to test your own assumptions. If you believe something, try to frame it as a conclusion. Then work backward. What premises would make this conclusion necessarily true? Are those premises actually sound? This is a powerful self-correction tool. The beauty of the syllogism lies in its clarity. It strips an argument down to its bare bones, revealing its logical strength or weakness. This is not about winning debates, but about achieving genuine, unshakable understanding, a hallmark of genius. Mastering these simple logical tools, like the syllogism, isn't about becoming rigid or uncreative. Instead, it provides a solid foundation from which creativity and intuition can more effectively soar, guided by reason and clarity. Another profound secret from Aristotle's way of thinking is the emphasis on cause and effect. To truly understand something, whether an event, a problem, or a behavior, we must strive to understand its causes. Shallow understanding sees only effects. Genius seeks the root. Aristotle identified different kinds of causes: the material cause, what it's made of; the formal cause, its design or form; the efficient cause, who or what made it; and the final cause, its purpose or end. Thinking through these layers deepens comprehension. Consider a simple chair. Material cause, wood; formal cause, its specific design, 4 legs, a back; efficient cause, the carpenter; final cause, to be sat upon. Applying this to more complex issues can reveal insights you might otherwise miss. When faced with a problem, don't just treat the symptoms, the effects. Ask, why is this happening? Repeatedly, like peeling an onion, until you reach the underlying causes. True solutions address these root causes, not just the surface manifestations. This pursuit of causes is fundamental to critical thinking and problem solving. It moves us from reactive responses to proactive strategies. A mind that consistently asks, why, is a mind that is on the path to deeper understanding and more effective action. Understanding cause and effect helps us predict future outcomes with greater accuracy. If we know what causes certain results, we can either replicate those causes for desired outcomes or avoid them to prevent undesired ones. This is strategic, genius-level foresight. The search for causes is an adventure in itself, a quest for knowledge that defines the intellectually curious. It's about refusing to accept things at face value and instead digging deeper for the mechanisms that shape our reality. This curiosity is a powerful engine. One of Aristotle's foundational principles, so basic it's often overlooked, is the law of non-contradiction. It states that something cannot be both true and untrue at the same time and in the same respect. A thing is what it is. A cannot be nate. This might seem obvious, but violations of this principle are surprisingly common in muddled thinking. When our beliefs or statements contradict each other, it's a sign that our understanding is flawed or incomplete. Clarity demands consistency. Genius thinking strives for internal coherence. It tests ideas against each other, seeking to resolve contradictions and build a consistent, logical framework of understanding. If you find yourself believing 2 opposing things, it's an invitation to dig deeper and clarify. The law of non-contradiction is a bedrock of rational discourse. Without it, arguments descend into absurdity. It's the quiet enforcer of sense, the rule that allows us to build knowledge upon solid ground rather than shifting sands. Applying this is simple. Examine your core beliefs. Do any of them conflict? For example, if you believe honesty is always best, but also sometimes a white lie is necessary, there's a tension to explore. This exploration leads to more nuanced and robust principles. Aristotle also valued categorization, the ability to group things based on shared characteristics. This organization of knowledge is crucial for efficient thinking. Geniuses often have highly developed mental filing systems, allowing them to access and connect information swiftly. Think of a biologist classifying species or a librarian organizing books. By understanding categories, we can make sense of vast amounts of information, see relationships between different concepts, and retrieve relevant knowledge quickly when needed. When you learn something new, consciously consider, where does this fit? What other ideas or facts is it related to? How does it compare or contrast with what I already know? This active categorization builds a richer, more interconnected web of knowledge. This ability to categorize and connect disparate pieces of information is often what sparks creative insights. By seeing how something from one category might relate to another, seemingly unrelated one, we can generate novel solutions and ideas. So we've explored several of Aristotle's logic secrets: clear definitions, argument structure, deductive and inductive reasoning, fallacy spotting, syllogisms, cause and effect, non-contradiction and categorization. How do these combine to help us think like a genius? Thinking like a genius, in the Aristotelian sense, isn't about mystical inspiration alone. It's about cultivating a disciplined mind. It's about consistently applying these principles of clear and logical thought until they become second nature, an ingrained way of perceiving and processing the world. It's about intellectual rigor, the willingness to examine assumptions, question conclusions, and embrace clarity over comfort. It involves intellectual humility, recognizing the limits of one's own knowledge, and being open to revising one's beliefs in the face of sound reasoning. The genius here is not an unachievable ideal but a state of enhanced cognitive function, accessible through practice. It's the ability to cut through complexity, to see to the heart of matters, and to construct sound, reliable judgments. This is the promise of Aristotle's logic. How can you begin to integrate these secrets into your daily life? Start small. Pick one principle. For example, for the next week, focus on defining terms clearly in your conversations or when tackling a task. Notice the difference it makes. When you read an article or listen to a debate, try to consciously identify the main premises and the conclusion. Don't worry about being perfect. Just practice the act of looking for them. This builds your analytical muscles. Before making an important decision, pause and ask, what are the underlying assumptions I'm making here? Are they justified? And what are the potential long-term consequences, cause and effect of each option? Listen for fallacies in everyday discussions or media, not to call people out, but to sharpen your own awareness. Recognizing flawed reasoning in others helps you avoid it in your own thinking. It's like training your ear for music. You begin to hear the subtleties. The journey to clearer, more genius-like thinking is not a race, but a gradual cultivation. Each small application of these logical principles is like adding a finely crafted stone to the edifice of your understanding. Be patient and persistent. Remember, Aristotle's logic is not about suppressing intuition or creativity. It's about providing a reliable framework within which your insights can be tested, refined, and communicated effectively. Logic and intuition are partners, not adversaries. By embracing these timeless secrets, you empower yourself to navigate the complexities of life with greater confidence and wisdom. You begin to see the world not as a confusing mess, but as a series of interconnected patterns and processes that can be understood. The clarity you gain isn't just for intellectual puzzles. It translates into more effective problem-solving in your career, better communication in your relationships, and a deeper sense of agency over your own life and choices. This is practical wisdom in action. The genius that Aristotle's logic cultivates is not about being infallible, but about being rational. It's about a commitment to reason, a dedication to understanding, and the courage to think critically, even about your own most cherished beliefs. So the invitation is simple. Explore these principles. Experiment with them. Make them your own. The secrets of Aristotle's logic are not hidden away. They are waiting to be rediscovered and applied by anyone willing to engage their mind. This journey into Aristotelian logic is more than an intellectual exercise. It's a path towards self-mastery, empowering you to shape your thoughts, and consequently, your reality, with greater intention and precision. It's an awakening of your inherent rational power. As you integrate these tools, notice how your perception shifts. Problems that once seemed overwhelming may start to appear as manageable challenges with discernible structures. Confusion gives way to curiosity, and frustration to a focused inquiry. The true value of Aristotle's legacy here is not in dogmatic adherence, but in the spirit of inquiry he championed. Use his logic as a lens to sharpen your own unique way of seeing and interacting with the world. Adapt these principles to your own journey. Thinking like a genius, then, is ultimately about thinking for yourself, but with the best possible tools. Aristotle provides a foundational toolkit, a whetstone to sharpen the blade of your intellect, allowing you to carve your own path with clarity and purpose. Let the pursuit of logical clarity be a source of quiet confidence. Knowing that you possess the mental framework to dissect arguments, solve problems, and make sound judgments is a profound form of inner strength. This is the enduring gift of Aristotle. The echoes of Aristotle's wisdom remind us that profound thinking is not an exclusive club. It is a capacity within us all, waiting to be cultivated. The secrets are simply the disciplined application of reason, a beacon that has guided curious minds for centuries. As you close this reflection, carry forward not a set of rigid rules, but an inspired approach to your own mental landscape. How can you bring more precision, more structure, more thoughtful inquiry into your day, starting now? The path to thinking like a genius is paved with conscious effort and the courage to examine the world and ourselves with an honest and logical eye. May Aristotle's insights serve as a faithful companion on your journey towards ever greater understanding.